or download the free app.
All right, welcome back to the show. Fifth Street Soccer here on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network, the SB Nation Radio Networks, American Forces Network. And we're also coming to you on iHeart, TuneIn, and of course, live video feed on YouTube and Twitch. You can find us on Twitter at Fifth Street Sports. You can find us on the web at fifthstreetsports.com. Nick Eber and Nick Webster with me. We're going to get to it. The one side of the final is set with France beating Belgium and making it through in what was anything but a humdinger of a match. Perhaps Nick Webster enjoyed it more than I did. But tomorrow we have Croatia, England, who are going to square off in the other semi-final for a chance to meet France in Moscow for the most coveted trophy in world football, the World Cup. Nick, all the talk in England about we can do it, football's coming home, what a wonderful draw we got. Gareth Southgate's so smart, we landed on the right side versus the left. But at the end of the day, they have to beat a very, very tough Croatia team tomorrow.
Yeah, Croatia are an outstanding outfit, and unbeaten in the tournament. Cruised through the group stages really quite comfortably, and it was a tough group at that. But in their last two games, they've been pushed to the absolute maximum, Nick. Denmark weren't meant to do anything good and pushed them all the way to extra time and penalties. And then Russia, who, let's be honest, are a very limited team, have moved through this tournament really thanks to the fervent support of being the home nation. And they took Croatia all the way to the edge. And, if it wasn't for a certain Mr. Rakitic and his rather large pair of testicles, when it mattered, he scored the winning goal both times. But yes, they're a great team, and I think from top to bottom, very strong. They do have the superstars in Rakitic and Modric, and we've spoken about them constantly throughout the tournament. I mean, these are the engine rooms of Madrid and Barcelona. I mean, two very useful club teams. But do they have what it takes up front? I mean, Mandzukic is, he's a workman-like centre forward, but really hasn't scored a lot of goals in this tournament. Defensively, they're decent, but the keeper looks like he may have some thigh issues. So,
well, actually, both. This is interesting, Nick. I'm just reading the injury report of the Croatian team as we speak. So Vedran Korluka is actually going to be playing instead of Saljico. Excuse me if I messed his name up. Right back. That's questionable because, of course, the outside backs are going to be terrorized by England's speedy wing backs. Brozovic is expected to replace Kramaric in the lineup. Interesting. I don't quite sure why. Kovacic may have to settle. Is probably going to be on the bench again. And even though they looked extremely tired against Russia in their quarterfinals, Subasic and Mandzukic are going to play, but they're also carrying injuries. I'm wondering, Nick, if all these extra time matches and the grinding, grueling path to the semis for Croatia has maybe taken too high of a physical toll on them.
Well, it can take a physical toll, but also what it can do is bring the unit closer together because they've seen adversity. And to be fair to Croatia, they fell behind to Denmark. They came back. Russia scored that very late equalizer in extra time, and they still had the fortitude to come back in penalties and take care of the business there. But yes, I mean, we've spoken about the physical nature of World Cup play and the fact that it's now like, it's like the Christmas period in the Premier League. The games are coming thick and fast. But as well as the physical toll, I think there's the mental toll that you really have to look at, and the drama that has been surrounding the Croatian team in their last two games has been intense. And now there's some political drama as well. Vida, the centre-back who scored the goal against Russia, is supposedly found himself in a little bit of hot water. And I'm sure the British press are making more of it than there really is. But these are not the kind of distractions you want when you head into a World Cup semi-final. Is your starting centre-back going to be allowed to play? Or is he going to be sent home because some random at FIFA has decided that he doesn't like the fact that he's gone Viva Ukraine at the end of a game. I mean,
Nick,
it makes no sense to me.
I'm gonna agree with something that you said, but I'm actually gonna disagree with it in this situation. I agree that scrabbling and fighting your way through two really, really hard-fought victories will bring a team together. Unless those were teams that you were expected to easily crush, in which case I would suggest is possibly the opposite. Look to England. England were really, people weren't convinced England were going to beat Colombia. Colombia were a very good side. People thought that was really going to be, potentially England's to lose, which they very nearly did. But coming through the penalties, exorcising the demons of England's penalty kicks, getting through Colombia, brought the team together. But I have to wonder, not beating Denmark it's like it's like should be like the boys, the senior team plays against the under 11s, but it wasn't. Russia should have been the senior team against the under 16s, but it wasn't. And I'm wondering, rather than bringing the team together, is it causing them to question just how good they are?
Well, I think you bring out some outstanding points. Look, at this World Cup, you can only play what's put in front of you. And I actually thought the group stage matches for Croatia were probably harder than the knockout stage matches. On paper, they certainly looked harder.
Iceland, Nigeria, Argentina, by the way. I mean,
Iceland, Nigeria, Argentina. Yeah. I mean, the three teams that I believed had a more than good shot of actually making the knockout rounds. I thought it was a really tough group, and I think we saw what Argentina were at the end of the day. You know, they were kind of old and knackered and really didn't have a clue.
Off to the glue factory.
Yeah, Iceland were exactly as advertised, and Nigeria, made life difficult. If we compare Denmark to Sweden, which of course is very lazy journalism, but I will, both Scandinavian countries, both with their fair share of players that ply their trade in England, and both play a similar kind of style. Well, England made playing Sweden look very, very easy. Yes, they gave up a couple of chances, but in terms of the pattern of the game, England never actually looked in trouble, and the fact that they gave Sweden a couple of good opportunities and Pickford bailed them out was rather a surprise than a here we go again kind of scenario. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to get too carried away, but when we look at how the teams have progressed, I would say that England look on the upswing, and Croatia maybe going a bit on the downswing. But that's not to discount the fantastic players that they have.
Oh, I agree entirely. And Croatia are fully capable of winning this match. As for England, the team news is not that exciting, to be fair. Most of the players that supposedly had knocks are over them. Jamie Vardy's had a little trouble in training. Kyle Walker, Dele Alli, and Ashley Young are all fine after having a little worries about them. Jordan Henderson had a little hammy in training. He'll be fine. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Fabian Delph, and Eric Dyer are on standby anyway. And Raheem Sterling, he's fine. He's going to be expected to start up front again with Harry Kane and Nick. I love Raheem Sterling. He has not scored a goal. I know it. But his pace, his speed, his danger, the fact that he can get behind defenders opens up defenses. Nick Webster, why cannot people see this?
Because unfortunately we live in America, and America's all about goals scored and assists and shots. And there's the beauty of football, and this is what I'd like to say to some of our listeners and viewers. The beauty of football is that you really have to be at a stadium to appreciate how much running off the ball occurs. We watch on a small screen, and that camera honestly cannot capture everything that is going on. According to the people who know the game very well and are at the stadiums, Sterling is making all kinds of runs that are putting defenders through chaos. They don't know whether to go with him, to hold their ground, and he's pulling people out of position. And I think his His play overall is underrated. His finishing has been very, very poor. Let's be honest. He has had some good chances, but then again, I would say the same thing about Jesse Lingard, who people are raving about because he scored that banger against Panama. Lingard has probably actually had more golden opportunities than Sterling. Listen, I'm not worried if Sterling doesn't score in the next 100 years for England. If we get to the final, Sterling can stay in the team. And you know, you brought up a great point about the Croatian injuries. We're injury free, Nick. There's nothing. It's getting too scary, Nick, because it seems like we're just serenely moving through the gears.
Because we have recruited the elixir of youth, Nick Webster. The elixir of youth. Let's get to it. We just got a few minutes left.
Yes.
Here we go. So that was today's match. I'm not going to give you the odds for that because you can't bet on it because it's over. Sorry, people.
I want the 1-0 on France.
Yeah. All right. England money line plus 137. They are the favorites. Croatia are plus 265. The total goals are 2. The over is minus 111. The under is minus 104. I wouldn't bet either of those. The draw is plus 210. England to advance are minus 155. Croatia plus 140. Nick, how do you like this one?
You know, I mean, the bookies aren't wrong often, and they've got England as, you know, in a World Cup semi-final. They're quite prohibitive favourites.
Yep.
By that money line, I'm English. I'm going to have to be honest, Nick. I really like England. I really like England to win the game and to meet France in the final. And I want to say that it's going to be comfortable, but I think it will be comfortable, Nick. Old England used to put us through the ringer. I think New England doesn't put us through the ringer. I think New England goes out there and is professional and puts the game away. And I think they'll win it. I think they'll win it either 2-0 or 2-1.
All right, Nick's going for the over. I'm going to just do the terrible thing, Nick Webster. You're going to hate me. I'm going to decline to give a pick for this match because, in my experience, my karma is very bad on teams that I like. When I pick them to win, they don't. So I'm not going to pick either way. Listen to Nick Webster. Nick Webster, I think, might well have this one right. But as for me, no recommendations for me. Sorry, guys. Remember I said you have to bet with your head and not with your heart? This one's just a little bit too hard for me to overcome that one. So I'm going to pass on betting this match, period. But Nick Webster will, and I think he's made a very sound decision there. Nick, I hate to leave you out on a limb, but I don't want to jinx him. And I know it's crazy, but that's what happens. All I can say is Jordan Henderson, I hope he doesn't go to 2 disappointing finals. So there you have it. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed the show. You can find us on FifthStreetSports.com. You can find us on Twitter at Fifth Street Sports. You can find us every Monday through Friday right here on the Sports Byline USA and SB Nation Radio Networks at 1 p.m. Pacific and then again 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Once again, Nick Webster is picking England at plus 137, and he's taken the over at minus 111. England to advance overall, minus 155. Probably not great value there. But in 90 minutes, England plus 137. All right, that's where we have it up until now. We are going to take a break, actually, and we'll be right back to wrap it up on Fifth Street Sports.